Now let's talk about working with files. Files are tied to an app. So you use an app, say like Pages, Numbers, or Keynote to open the app and you're creating a document that would be a Pages, Numbers, or Keynote document. Sometimes there are document types that you can open with multiple apps. For instance, an image file can be opened by any number of different image editors. Let's use as an example the app TextEdit. TextEdit is a basic word processor that allows you to create very simple documents. A lot simpler than Pages, but it's a good example of an app that creates a certain type of document. When you first run TextEdit, you may find you're looking at a window like this, which allows you to select a file and open it, or there's a New Document button. Sometimes you won't see this window but instead have to go to File, New to create a new document. Even when you're currently working on a document you can always go to File, New and create another document and work on more than one document at the same time. Either way, whether you use File, New or New Document, you'll get a new document like this. It'll have its own window and you can start working on this document. I'm going to type some text in here. Now that I've created a document, let's save it. If I go to the File menu, that's where you'll find Save. Now since I've never saved this document before, notice how it shows Save here with 3 dots after it. Anytime you see a menu item with 3 dots, that means this action will be performed but more information will be needed. So if I select it, the more information it needs is a name and also a location where to save it. I'm going to type in here example document and I'm going to choose to save it in this folder that I previously created. Once I press Save you can see now the title of the document changes from Untitled, which it was before, to the name of the document. If I look in File for Save now I see it doesn't have 3 dots anymore because now I can save. It doesn't need any additional information. It knows where the file is and it knows what it's called, so a save can be done without prompting you for those things. Now let's say we want to return to this document. I'm going to close it by using the red button here. You could also go to File, Close, or Command W to close the document. TextEdit is still running and I could still create other documents in TextEdit or open them. But let's say I want to return to that document I previously had opened. If I'm in TextEdit, one thing I can do is go to File and then Open, and then I can navigate to that document. So here I already am in the current folder. Let's change this to make it look a little bit more like we're used to by going to Column View. And we can see here there's Example Document. I'm going to use Command Up Arrow to go up. There's Current. There's Example Document. And I can select it. If I was somewhere else like here, I can navigate to where I need it to go. So you can use File Open to open a document. You can also use File Open Recent and you'll find your recently accessed files there. And I can use this to open the document as well. Another thing I could do is I could use the Finder. So I'm going to click on the desktop to move to the Finder. I could have also clicked on it right here. And I'm going to go to a new Finder window. I'm going to navigate to Current. There it is. And there's the document. I could drag and drop this to TextEdit here in the doc. But I could also just double click it. It knows that this is a TextEdit document. A document I created in TextEdit. I've been working with in TextEdit. So just double clicking the document automatically launches TextEdit or brings it to the front if it's already running and then opens that document. So you can see there are a lot of different ways to get to the document you were previously working with. There are so many more. For instance, in the Apple menu you can go to Recent Items and find recent items that you were working with there. In the dock you can click and hold and you can see recent documents here for most apps. And you can see I've got this one already open. So a lot of different ways that you can handle opening up a document you've been working with already. Now one thing about documents in most apps is that you don't need to save before you exit. A long time ago on operating systems you would have needed to save this file and then close it. Otherwise you'll get prompted saying this file hasn't been saved. Are you sure you want to close it? But you don't have to do that anymore. I could type a second line to this and watch what happens when I click the X button. It goes away. I never saved it. It never asked me to save it. Yet if I open it again, notice the changes I made since the last save were preserved. Modern apps today automatically save when you close the document. So After the initial save, when you create the name and the location for the file, you don't ever really need to use save again. Saving is automatic. However, there is a setting under System Settings. If you go to Desktop and Dock and scroll down, you'll find Ask to keep changes when closing documents. If you return that on and type something else and then close, it's going to prompt you to save or revert to the version before you made the changes. It's best to leave this turned off. That way you get the benefits of automatic saving. Now, in addition to that, there is a reason you may want to use save. Every time you save a document in most modern apps, it remembers that state of the document. So let's add another line here and save. I'm just going to use Command S to save instead of going all the way into the menu there. And another one and save. So every time I've saved, I've created a version of the document. If I go to File, Revert To, I can revert to the last opened version of this document. So when I first opened it. I could also browse all versions, and it enters this interface here where I see the current document. And then I see previous ones here. I can use the arrow keys here to go back, and you can see this is what it looked like before. This is what it looked like before that. And I can go back to every time I saved or closed the document, what it looked like. Let's exit this and let's say that I delete this and save. And now I close the document and sometime later I come back to it. And I go in and I realize I shouldn't have deleted that line. Maybe that wasn't a line, but an entire chapter of a book I accidentally deleted. Or maybe deleted, but now I regret it. Well, if I were to go to File, Revert To, Browse All Versions, and go back, there it is. I can actually, in a text document like this, select that and copy if I want. Or I could hit Restore to restore the document to this version. Let me do that. And now you can see it takes it back, it rolls it back to that previous version. So this versioning system here allows you to undo mistakes, and it does this without actually taking up much space on your drive at all. It is using changes to save. So it's not resaving new copies of the file each time, but just noting what has changed between versions of the file. So usually it doesn't take up much more space than the actual file itself.